When she learned the king's power, Jocasta lost delight in being queen. Laius was a cold, dry man. Looking at him brought the image of her baby, his feet pierced and bound. Her baby left to die in the mountain slope. They would have no other children. I remember Laius drunk that night, crying for Chrysippus, the source of his curse. Wanting this boy, he took me instead and threw me on my back to have his way. I am 15 and afraid to resist, and tell myself, it is my husband's right. The gods decree a wife obey her spouse. Sober, Laius recalls Apollo's threat. Our son will kill him. Beget upon me. 9 months drag like an oxen plowing. With icy eyes, Laius watches me swell. I fear the gods and beg Hera for a girl. But as foretold, I give birth to a son. Laius takes the child to bind its feet. The baby cries, and Laius turns away. He summons a servant and orders me to hand my baby over, threatening me when I cry. The king will keep his own hands clean. At the public altar, Laius offered ritual bulls and lambs and ritual slaughter. The ever-burning fire raged so the offerings charred, and Jocasta trembled at the god's displeasure. Upon the gates this dawn a strange creature appeared, and woke all Thebes. In raucous voice she cried, "A riddle! Who'll solve my riddle?" At first our people came to gawk, then marveled. Some trembled. Children hid their heads and cried. I've heard old tales that minstrels sing of her, but never did expect to really see a sphinx, part woman, bird, and lion too. And what she asks, it's strange as well. 4 legs, then 2, then 3. What can it be? No one. The Sphinx brought pestilence and drought. Rivers and streams and dry, vines shriveled. But until her riddle was solved, the creature would not leave. On the gates she stayed, her destructive song echoing from empty wells. My life is a toad. All day and all night, the Sphinx. We cannot escape her song. Song! More like a wail or whine or scream. Laius is useless as always. Deceitful man, I hate him. Hate his touch. On the swept road to Delphi, Laius was killed. The servant reporting that the death begged Jocasta to let him tend flocks in the hills. Sending him on his way, she shut herself in the palace. The prophecy was false. How can that be if the gods control all things? For surely chance does not, no. Yet Laius killed our son and not the other way. That sin diseased his soul. I bless the gods that I, at last, am free. I dreamed of my baby night after night. He is dancing for the gods with bound feet. I do not understand how he can dance so. When he jumps, he trips, falling in a heap. The gods just laugh and turn away to drink. I sit reveling knots. The knots become a rope. I awake shaking and muffle my tears in the sheet. Man, answered the young stranger, whose red hair caught the sun rays, and the riddle was solved. True to her promise, the Sphinx dashed herself to death. Thebes was free. Hailing their hero, the people elected Oedipus king. Gratefully he accepted the rule, and with it the hand of Thebes' queen Jocasta. I see the young Oedipus in radiant sunlight, Apollo binding me to all but young and vital strength. Deep in myself I feel a pulse beat. Something in sleep begins to awake, as though a dormant seed sent up a shoot opens a leaf. I love this youth, my son. I rise to him and with him. Before the people's eyes Jocasta became young. Her dark hair gleamed, her eyes was bright. Her laughter cheered the halls of the palace. Oedipus has become my Apollo warming my days and nights. I am 18 again with poppies in my hair. I am the poppies, bright little blooms with milk in them. Like them, I seem to spring from rocky ground. Like their color and his hair are love flames. Sweet Aphrodite, you rush through me a stream until you burst like foam that crests the sea. Your blessing washes what was once a barren ground. I walk among the roses. Feel your blush upon my cheeks, O lovely goddess. I send you swans and doves. Thebes prospered these years. The gnarled olive bent lower with fruit. Lambs frisked in the fields, and pipers' songs rang through the fields. Jocasta had 4 children. Psalms of joy were sung and danced for the gods. With 4 children the hours run away. Their hunger games and tears take all my time. In bed with Oedipus I sleep in peace. He was at first my headstrong bull, but now he is what a man, a king, should be. I like to see him walking in the yard, his funny stiff gait, his hair burnished by Apollo's brilliant rays. Mine turns gray, but he doesn't seem the mine. Our love has brought me to the joy that I missed when I was young and thought I'd never know. At last I lay to rest my little boy. His shadow vanished now from all my dreams. Years of plenty at an end. Thebes was inflicted with drought. The earth burned as crops withered. Cattle and sheep sickened. Jocasta, very grey now, walked with a more measured step. More than a loving wife, she was also counselor to Oedipus. Blaming himself because the land is parched, Oedipus frets alarmed he's failed the gods, in some unknown way, searching within himself. In turn I pray, lighting fire after fire, but none burn true. I call on Aphrodite and offer her doves, but they flap their wings and peck each other's eyes. When I ask Apollo to dim his eyes, his answer scowls. No relief at hand, Oedipus sought aid from Delphi. The report came back, a confusing riddle about Laius' death. Suspecting treason, Oedipus feared conspiracy against his own throne. Oedipus needs someone to blame. He calls Creon traitor, Tiresias false seer. I take him in my arms and stroke his hair. He tells me what Tiresias has foresawn. I laugh and tell him I too once believed that prophecy controlled our lives, that sea had magic, the rest of us did not. I tell the story of Laius, how it was foretold he would die at his son's hand, and how the baby died when 1 week old. As I speak, I feel so strange, as though my tale came from another life about someone else. My words do not comfort, they flame new fears. He relates what drove him from home, tales he would kill his father and bring rank fruit from his mother's womb. He fears that he has been cursed. Dear gods, how can I comfort him? From Corinth, a messenger brought news of Polybus's death, the king whom Oedipus called father. You say that Polybus is dead. Dare I greet death with joy? Can that blasphemy? My heart flies into song. His father's dead. My Oedipus lives safe. His prophecy is false as Laius's was. Oh, bless your fate, dear love. You need no longer fear. Corinth wished Oedipus to return and rule. Fearing he would sleep with his mother, Oedipus refused. Nothing to fear, the messenger assured. Merope was a barren woman. Jocasta began to tremble. Her hands rose to cover her mouth. What's this? What's this? What words do I hear? How can I shut his silly mouth? I tell him. Go, leave. We will not heed your words. My tongue stopped, rooted in my mouth. I look at Oedipus. He does not see me watching. His face is strained. His eyes are blaring blue. I try to stop the questions. Oedipus, I beg you, do not hear this out. When Oedipus insisted, the messenger told the story of the king's infancy, how he, a shepherd then, had helped to save the king's life. when a baby with bound feet. Oh God, oh cold gold God, Apollo, you chill me. My mind is ice and I hear my mouth saying freezing words to Oedipus, to my husband, my son. God keep you happy, the knowledge of who you are. Unhappy, Oedipus, my poor damn Oedipus. That is all I can call you, and the last thing I shall ever call you. Her face ashen, Jocasta rushed into the palace, her hands showing her way to her own quarters. She ordered the guards to let no one in. Ignoring all offers of help, she commanded her women to leave her alone. I can't believe, oh God, he is my son. I love my son, but not as mothers should, but in my bed and me. All that I love most, his youth made our love the summer sun. Wrong, all wrong, vile. He caressed me here, and I returned his touch. Odious hands, my flesh crawls with worms. My God, we've had 4 children. In her chamber, she looked at her bed, sat on it, then jumped up as though stung. Covering her eyes with her hands, she shook her head back and forth, again and again, her body rocking. Oh, Oedipus, what good was our love if it comes only to shame? 2 children whom all thieves can curse, such children, even ours, are rightly damned. Although we could not know who we were and loved in innocence, still we are monsters in the eyes of God and man. Our names will mean disgrace and guilt forever. Walking to her dressing table, she stood before it, picking up a small object, combs, a gold box, a pair of brooches. Noticing a bracelet given her by her father when she was a bride, she let forth a dreadful groan. Oh, Laius, Laius, you brought this one on me. My fate was sealed my wedding day. Crispius was innocent as I. For you this curse was uttered, a curse that falls on me. Oh, that I must bear the shame, that I must be destroyed by your corruption, and our son, because you sinned, is ruined, damned. My marriage day, what choices did I have? As many as the night you came to me. The only choice a woman has is that she wed, accepting what the gods and men decree. It is not just, it can never be right. Moving decisively, she walked to the doors and bolted them, straining against their heavy weight. The women on the other side called to her, but again she bade them go away. Falling on her hands and knees, she pummeled her stomach as though to punish her womb. As she did, she called her children's names, one name, Oedipus, again and again. I thought him buried, forgotten, but no, for countless days and nights, these many years, he's thrust himself on me instead. My bed, once stained with birthing blood, is now forever stained. What once was love became a rank corruption. Rising painfully sore, she turned to the small altar in her chamber. Smashing a jar which held incense, she began in a voice of char to call upon Apollo and Aphrodite. And she raised her eyes, she raised her fist, and shook it against the silent air. Apollo, you blinded me to his scars, his age, any resemblance to Laius, and you, Aphrodite, cruel sister of the sun, set my woman's body afire, matching my ripe years and hungers with his youth and strength. Paralyzing my mind, you inflamed my heart. The years I pitied you and praised you were all charade. You enjoyed my dance. We were all fools to trifle with your joke. We tremble to questions what the future holds, as though it matters. We think asking will spoil our luck, but your injustice mocks all hope. I hear a chant pounding inside my head, 5 babies, 5 abominations, as though a chorus raises call to prayer, 5 babies, 5 abominations. No call to prayer, it is a call to curse the gods. No longer will I be their fool. From her robe she removed her braided belt. As she looped its strands, she heard from the courtyard a man's voice scream in anguish. Undeflected, she tied the necessary knots, slipping the loop back and forth. Satisfied, she settled the noose around her neck. 5 babies cursed by heavenly whim, cursing their lives without a chance or hope. Mothers ought not to love their children so. Gathering her skirts, she climbed up on the stool. And wives be more than merely bedside pawns. Those who cannot shape their lives are better dead. She stepped onto the air.